This dude don't know what he's talking about. Because if you're going to say fresh and fit and Kevin Samuels in the same sentence and then say Kevin Samuels was a shock jock, no, 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 no. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Let's party. Guys, you know it well. It is another episode of It's Complicated. But this time, a little bit different. Talking not to women about the double standards on their side of things, but talking to men about simping and the manosphere. Let's do it.
Have you ever heard of the manosphere?
I don't know what the manosphere is.
Alrighty, guys, you got to realize that if you are terminally online, there's a whole world out there, and people will have no idea what you're talking about if you don't go outside.
Have you ever heard of Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
It's an alternate view on relationships, kind of favoring the man's role in society right now and lawfully.
The manosphere is defined as a collection of websites, blogs, and online forums promoting masculinity, misogyny, and opposition to feminism.
Misogyny, promoting.
I'm glad that he pointed that out, because I'm listening and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, that sounds right. But if you're new to this channel, you know, we used to cover a lot of Red Pill, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, that kind of stuff, and you know, it just kind of ran its course and it got boring. And now, because of that, it seems like specifically Fresh and Fit, but a lot of those podcasts, a lot of those platforms are leaning into the more sensationalized stuff, whereas it used to be more about giving men information, all that kind of stuff that the other dude just said.
Misogyny?
Well,
now that's obviously not.
Okay, well that's what the Wikipedia
Right,
definition I guess is.
It's a little biased,
Yeah,
probably.
okay.
Yep.
Well, Wikipedia. What do you think of all the different manosphere channels and the similarities and differences between their messages?
So far in the manosphere, I may have maybe like 3 different channels that I know of. One is Fresh and Fit. One was Kevin Samuels, and another one is a bald-headed white guy. He has like a salt and peppery beard. You know?
Oh, he's talking about Rich Cooper. So, I mean, Fresh and Fit, you know, like I just said, they're not doing so great. I think all of this downfall started with the death of the late, great Kevin Samuels, R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. And yeah, Rich Cooper is, I don't really know how and why this happens, but in the same way, there's like Twitter and then Black Twitter, there's YouTube and then Black YouTube, and apparently the manosphere and then the Black manosphere. I don't know. I don't spend too much time thinking about race like that. So whatever. But as far a lot of the drama does come from the creators that tend to be more on the Black manosphere type of things, because Rich Cooper stays way out of that stuff, and it makes sense that he is one of the ones that I still listen to. I mean, not religiously. I don't watch everything that he puts out, but you know, if there's something there, oh, that's interesting, and he's always got an interesting point of view. And with anything, with any group, whether it's news or, you know, just your gossip channels, or if you're following sport, whatever it is, you have to understand the biases that are held by the people talking and the differences between those people, what their different biases are.
So they talk about different things. Kevin Samuels was very provocative. It seemed like he was a shock jock, and he wanted to.
All right, this dude don't know what he's talking about. Because if you're going to say Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels in the same sentence and then say Kevin Samuels was a shock jock, no. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Samuels started out speaking to men, trying to get men to be better. And then it just so happened that a lot of women started picking up on his message, and I guess not a lot of men were taking up his information. And then he started doing almost exclusively call-in shows where women would call into him and he would try to help them get married. Yeah, it was a little shocking because he would be straightforward, but certainly not a shock jock.
Get the conversation started. It seemed like he didn't believe some of the stuff he would say. He would just say it to be provocative, to get men and women talking about it, because it's important to have these conversations.
Could not disagree more about Kevin Samuels. I think that it is exactly Fresh and Fit that fits that description. That's sad.
I think that some people are intentionally antagonistic,
like Fresh and Fit,
in that space in order to promote a message and promote themselves, and that's understandable. I wouldn't find it that interesting for that aspect of it.
The manosphere, when it comes to Fresh and Fit, those guys.
If he's going to speak more highly about Fresh and Fit than Kevin Samuels, I'm not going to be happy.
Let's have some point of views that are legit. Also, some of the point of views, they're not really so legit to me. Like one of the guys said, you should, be with at least 50 women before you settle down. That seems a bit excessive,
I'd say so.
so that's not really, something I vibe with. But just with anything, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and you agree with people when they're right, and also when they're wrong, you kind of separate. So
that's really important. And that goes for anything, not just the manosphere, politics, religion, anything. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So for me, specifically, when it comes to religion, which is something we talk about a lot on this channel, I'm an atheist, but I grew up in the church, and I respect a lot of the values that I got from the Christian church. I just don't believe in the claims. That doesn't mean I need to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say all Christianity is bad because I don't believe this truth claim. When it comes to politics, you could say, okay, I'd like the left side of the aisle is more about, talking about this, that, and the other, but I don't like when they do that. Or the conservatives are more this, that, and the other, but I don't like when they do that. You don't have to swallow every pill whole. It's okay to pick things apart and understand, okay, I agree with this, I don't agree with that. I agree with this, I don't agree with that. That's called critical thinking. That's called being an adult with thoughts of their own.
we have to be, I think that we're an intelligent society, and we can listen to different people, different personalities, and pick what's good from the bad and separate it,
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think that people that are criticizing it are going to be painting it with a very broad brush.
Yep.
And so, even with it, like, let's take Andrew Tate, for instance, right?
Do you think Andrew Tate is helping or hurting men?
They are going to love Andrew Tate. There's no doubt about it. I don't know how you could be a man or a boy or whatever who's 18 or younger and not look at Andrew Tate and not be able to discern why people hate him. As a 33-year-old man, I can say I agree with a lot of things that he says, but it's very clear why people don't like him. But at this age, I mean, I don't know how old they are. They look maybe 18, 20, but they're definitely going to be into it.
And why?
I think he's helping men because he motivates us to be better and motivates us to want more out of our lives.
He's helping men, you feel me, be more in touch with their masculinity, but he's also, like, he does have some misogynistic traits, and
There are some good points that I think that he boosts confidence in young men, but he can damage some that misinterpreted what he says.
So even though I disagreed with the black dude who was saying that Fresh and Fit was better than Kevin Samuels, we see here that even within this toxic masculinity space, that all of these people are coming from a very rational point of view. That, okay, again, like I said, I'm being a critical thinker. I'm not taking it all in and saying, you go, girl, I ride with you, so I ride with you. No. When you say something I don't like, I'm either just going to, not listen to it or tell you that I don't like it.
Although he has some opinions that are against
See?
women, I feel like the majority of what he says is good for men, and I feel like men should listen to what he's saying.
Obviously, he's been arrested in Romania on some, serious charges, right? But you could take individual things that he says,
Exactly.
and 85% of the people that you might ask might agree with those things. They might not agree with, whatever he might have done to get.
They're not going to agree when they hear it comes from Andrew Tate, but if you just state the fact, you'll be like, yeah, of course.
Charged with criminal charges, but that doesn't mean that, you should throw out necessarily the whole message.
Which is more important, their message or their lifestyle?
Ooh.
The message.
go to message for
It's always the message.
I don't know about that. That's a tough one because the message absolutely is important. If you don't have a good message, then it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, if you're spreading a good message, but you're not living that message, then you can't really be a role model. It's important that you embody the values that you preach. But then again, at the end of the day, you don't have to be a perfect person to be able to give people good advice. So yeah, I guess I might say the message too.
The more important thing socially is the message, but the thing that might sell it is the lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, because I believe, Pearly Things, you've heard of them?
Oh, Pearl. Oh, Pearl.
Pearly Things, her channel, she doesn't practice anything she preaches.
Can you be more specific?
She always says that men don't want a career-oriented woman or a person that talks strong and, a masculine, career-oriented and all that. I don't know. She just
And how did she get all of her fame?
I don't know. She tells other women how to be when she's being the opposite of what she's telling them to be.
Do you watch their content more for the educational value or for the entertainment value?
Ooh, so this I would love to hear in the comments. What do you guys think? Those of you that do watch Red Pill Manosphere content, are you there more for the education or for the entertainment? I will tell you for sure, when I started, I was watching it for the education. Because I was one of these blue pill, plugged in, beta, Disney rom-com guys. And it took me getting my heart broken and not really realizing why to see that, okay, something needs to change. Something's going on. I'm not really, I'm a good person, but this is not working out. So I got to figure out what's going on. So originally, it was definitely about the education. But there's not really that much there. You're not becoming a doctor. It doesn't take years and years and years of study. Getting red pilled is kind of just seeing through the lies, seeing what are the lies and understanding that the world doesn't work the way that you've been told that it works. So after a while, it definitely does just become about like, oh, let's get these girls. And then that kind of loses its flavor. Once you're in that red pill rage stage, as they call it, when you realize these lies, then it is, very satisfying to see all these women who, in your mind can get any man they want, and they have no idea what your struggle is like. It's validating to see other men be able to take them to task or whatever. But again, that gets old very quickly. And if you're not malicious in your thinking in general, then once you kind of see like, oh, okay, now I know how to act, then you don't need to be bashing on other people. So this is going to be very, very telling, both for who the people are and where they are in their lives, if they care more about the education or about the entertainment.
Yeah, for the education.
I like the educational value of it.
All
and then
right.
sometimes it's very entertaining. Just like your channel, man.
Facts.
I love your channel. You be lighting their asses up.
How much of what is being said is new information?
Not
Right,
much.
60%.
Yeah, 60%.
60%. Okay, so the fact that guy said he's there for the education and said that 60% is new information means he was probably in the same boat as me, where he just didn't know it. But it absolutely is not new information. It's not new information. It's just information we hadn't heard before.
None of it. There's nothing new under the sun, as they say. So, but there's a lot of it that is new to a lot of people, a lot of young men, for instance.
Younger people, it's new information. Older people, it's been here, but the way it's being presented is new.
Like we've been taught, kind of raised that girls with sugar spice everything nice, guys with snakes, snails, and puppy dog tails.
Oh, snakes, snails, and puppy dog tails.
Turns out that a lot of these women are not sugar and spice, and a lot of men have found that out,
the hard way.
The hard way, and had a rude awakening with some really unscrupulous women.
Yep, that's exactly what happened to me. It's exactly what happened. And I have to take responsibility that I did not do the work that I needed to do to understand the red flags that were waving right in front of my face. But at the end of the day, I was not, some of these women.
And have a platform now, as before when it was just Oprah and Sally, Jesse Raphael, and Ricky Lake. That's all we had to really go by. But now men are picking up the microphone, men are doing their thing, men are giving their perspective on things, and it kind of gives a counterbalance, and that's what we need.
Exactly. It's not that men aren't out here doing unscrupulous things, to use his word. That's not the case. The problem is that, on Oprah and Ricky Lake and all these things, I am not watching to see the problems with dating men, because as a straight man, I'm not interested in dating men.
And I think that it's also very sobering for women too, for them to actually consider what the future holds based off of their behavior and like their choices.
If this is not new information, why has nothing improved?
Because the message is not getting out.
Ooh, nothing has improved because the message isn't getting out. So then that brings us back to the other question: what's more important, the message or the message or the behavior, whatever? We need an effective messaging system for all of this.
Not just women, but everybody. Everybody's on their square. The men are over here, the women over here. Everybody's separated. Even when you go out, man, in clubs, everybody's separated. It's just how can you improve from that? Everybody's more engaged to their phones.
before you can have social change, you have to have awareness, right? And I'm
Facts.
going to go to the opposite, which is the women's suffrage movement, let's say.
Okay.
Well before women got the right to vote, there had to be decades literally, of awareness of those issues before there was any meaningful social change.
That's an interesting point. Why isn't anything changing? Well, we only just started feeling comfortable speaking like this. So the change is coming, and it's happening on the grassroots level of individual men specifically, changing how they behave. But it's going to take a while for that to have, wide-ranging social effects.
And I think that I think that may be the case here, and maybe it's not decades, but any social movement starts with awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you have information doesn't mean that things are going to improve. There's so many people that know how to be fit. They know they should, eat a little less food. They should eat nutritious food. They should go to the gym. They should try to get sleep. But how many people are doing that? A lot of people know how to take care of their relationships, but who's actually doing it? A lot of people know what to do, but actually doing it or being aware of what to do and actually doing it are two different things. So I don't think it just applies to this topic.
Why do these channels spend so much time on self-improvement and men grooming themselves to please toxic women that just want to use them and bring nothing to the table?
That's a great point, because especially the more popular, again, I'll use Fresh and Fit, the more popular channels are not about how to settle down and find a nice wife, like Kevin Samuels was trying to do. There's a little aside for that dude who was saying that Kevin Samuels was a shock jock. Kevin Samuels was actually out here trying to get women married to good men. Fresh and Fit are trying to tell you how to sleep with 50 women. Those women aren't going to be the type of women that you want to settle down with.
Honest opinion, I feel like a lot of men lose a lot of masculinity. So I just feel like they just need to know, let these females know you can't just use any man how they want to use them.
To please toxic women that just want to use us and bring nothing to the table.
We shouldn't.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good. We shouldn't use it for toxic women.
I believe that you supposed to better yourself so you can attract the women you want, not gold diggers and shit.
Right. And so the idea is not to use this information to, run up your notch count, even though that's what a lot of these guys are saying. If you're looking at this from an educational standpoint, then you want to get this information so that you can use it on the type of women that you want to settle down with.
So the idea is become a person that is that somebody would want to be with.
Yep.
And not do it, but don't do it just to. It's kind of like pickup artists. The idea of kind of gaming the system, playing a game versus becoming a person who's attractive to the type of people you want to attract.
Well said. It's about becoming a better person to attract the person that you want to attract, rather than gaming the system. Well said.
Does having a flashy car and a fancy watch attract the type of women you want?
Personally, no, because a lot of them are not loving me. They're loving what I can do for them. So no.
I want a girl that's more traditional value. A girl that has more.
You don't know what that means. This is what I meant with the Andrew Tate stuff. You're saying traditional values. You don't know what traditional values are at 18, man. Come on.
Some more things we have in common. Not really materialistic, all that.
How is having game different than simping for women?
Ooh, good point.
Having game being different than simping for women. I would say that it's kind of the opposite. Simping is doing things specifically to try to make to prove yourself to the woman. Whereas having game is more about demonstrating that you are something that she wants. Yeah, I think I like that.
In theory, simping would be being a nice guy. So if you're talking about in terms of pickup artists, simping would be being a nice guy, whereas pickup artist stuff is heavily, at least in certain people's expression of it, involves negging and that sort of thing. And so
you can tell this guy's from the older days. You got. If any of you remember that guy Mystery, they had a pickup artist show on like, I guess it was Spike TV or something. Google that guy. This is this guy's type of exposure to what Red Pill is. You can see that he's aware of the Andrew Tates of the world, but that he's not really in that space because, again, like I said, once you get the information, once you realize, oh, that and that were a lie. Okay, now I can move on, understanding that that's the truth. you don't really need much more from the space.
So one is being nice and one is getting what you want without being nice.
Game is like winning her mind over with
Right.
just your mouthpiece. Simping is like, hey, I'll spend so much money on you. I'll buy you dinner. I'll take you shopping. Like, you don't need money to get a woman.
Bam, bam. That's exactly it. Like I said, demonstrating that you are already somebody that she wants versus doing things to try to win her favor.
Having game is usually when you're trying to hit on a girl to get laid. Simping for women is when you're trying to get a girlfriend.
Having game is being able to go up to a girl, start a conversation with her, get her laughing, giggling, you feel me? Being able to get the number and be able to go somewhere from that.
What does it mean to flex?
To flex would be a show of a display of wealth or power or something like that.
The flex just means to, like show off, to be a showboat, to do too much. Like,
What's the difference between old money versus new money, and which one is more likely to flex?
Obviously, new money would be more likely to flex, I think.
Yeah, I mean, old money is, money that you're like generational wealth. You grew up with it. New money is when you started from the bottom and now you're here, and you got to flex everything you got.
So old money is would be a person who has family money. New money is a person who just made money and is therefore more likely to flaunt it.
How is buying a bunch of luxury items to impress women not just another form of simping?
It is.
I feel like that's a good thing. It depends what the guy feels. Like if the guy is doing it for the women, then I understand that. I view that as a form of simping because they're trying to get their attention. But if they buy that for any other external reasons outside of that, I believe that has a different meaning in my opinion.
Okay, so yeah, he's just saying that if you have nice things because you like nice things and that happens to attract women, that's one thing. But if you're buying these things to attract women, that would be simping.
I think it is kind of like being simping because it's like you're begging for attention for women, and you're offering materialistic items, not really what like is in the inside, like a conversation or something about yourself.
I tend to agree with that on the surface, but the other aspect of it is that women are attracted to, shiny things. And so even if you are a good person, if you are not well groomed, if you're not all that, then you're not going to have the opportunity to show those aspects of your personality. So there is a level of needing to flex, to use his word, in certain ways. But you don't need to be, have a $10,000 watch and a Lamborghini, all that kind of stuff. You just have to flex that you are a confident person.
it used to be, oh yeah, I want a man that's gonna protect me, who'll be there for me, who'll be the leader, the head of the house.
Oh, it's still that. They just want a whole lot more.
So now it's, oh yeah, I want a man who makes 5 figures. I want a man who,
5? Oh no, homie, it's 6 and 7 now.
who doesn't work a 9 to 5. I want a guy who does all these crazy things but can't bring anything to the table. See, at least back then, when women had all these crazy high expectations, it was, you feel me, they were at least bringing something back to the table.
Do women's delusional expectations require men to set delusional goals?
In a sense, yeah. Some girls want like a 6-figure man, and like honestly, like dude, like look at yourself. Like you don't have a job. You expect your looks to get you everywhere, and like could affect men delusions, dreams, or whatever.
What's the difference between a woman rating herself a 10 and a guy calling himself an alpha male?
Nothing at all. No alpha male calls themselves an alpha male. Just the other day, we were doing on the live streams, we were doing the Jubilee Middle Ground, male feminists versus female anti-feminists. And there's this big jack dude who his shirt said alpha elite or something. Or it was like a play on athlete, but alpha. And he spoke like this, and he was very soft-spoken, and he didn't have a lot to say. Nobody who calls themselves an alpha can fit any definition of being an alpha.
The difference is if an alpha male is like a king. So you're always supposed to treat a man like a king. And a woman that's rating herself 10, she just bougie and stuck up.
No, I disagree, because there are, when we use the term alpha male, there is a picture, what we understand for that to mean. But it's just not those who are calling themselves alpha males.
Nobody's 10 out of 10. Nobody in this world is 10 out of 10. It's just you having an inflated ego. But being an alpha male, you're just, like you feel like you're a dominant person. You feel like, you can set the tone, you can take charge and lead things.
Men recognize alpha males. Women, not all, but some women are delusional and they think they're 10s and they're far from it. So, but women can tell themselves anything and believe it. Men.
Facts. Women can tell themselves anything and believe it. So this has been very interesting, guys. You can go check out the rest of the video, but it's a lot of that type of stuff. And what did you think about this, flipping it around? Instead of going to women and asking about double standards that have to do with women, he went to men and asked about the manosphere and the red pill talking points and all that kind of stuff. Very cool flip on his traditional type of content. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, this is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, check me out live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, we are out of here. Peace.